Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We are so happy that you're here with us today. We've got the Get Her Hired team on deck here. We're all in, we're all here to help you out. This market is wacky right now. And I know that in the news just yesterday, there were a number of larger layoffs at larger companies, but we've also been hearing smaller companies, mid-sized companies are also going through layoffs. So we had set this up before that news came out. And so we're really grateful we had this planned so that we can help any and all of you that are struggling with your job search right now, whether it was a voluntary or involuntary layoff, or you're voluntarily doing a new search right now because you're afraid of a layoff coming or anything like that. We're here for it all today because we work with men and women around the country, around the world. This is what's happening right now. Before we go any further, I would love to introduce the team, and if our team could just say, hey, and maybe share briefly what your role is here at Get Her Hired. So I'm Kate Wade, and I'm the founder. I started this company about 6 years ago with the mission to help 10,000 women, thems, and cool men land their next boss roles. And we, like I say, work with everyone across all industries and functional roles. So we're at the forefront of seeing what's happening for people and the emotional blowback that happens for people when we're in the job search situation, that loss of confidence, et cetera. So we're here for it. I'm a writer. I'm a confidant, and I really love helping people. And that's my role here at Get Her Hired. Jonathan, can you introduce yourself briefly?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Janet Briones. I'm the admin of Get Her Hired, and I'm new to the team. And yeah, I'm always here to help you and give any assistance that you need.
Excellent. Thank you, Jonathan. Yes. So if anyone needs anything from Get Her Hired, you can write to admin at Get Her Hired, and Jonathan will answer your question. I promise you, we'll get your questions answered. She's wonderful. And thank you, Jonathan. Lourdes, would you go next, please?
Sure. I'm Lourdes Hernandez Dayton. I had a career of about 19 years in medical device industry, doing things like technical writing, project management, compliance specialist. And I've found my home here at Get Her Hired as a writer. So I help with, writing the resumes, doing LinkedIn audits, job search strategies, things like that. So that is what I do with Get Her Hired.
Thank you, Lourdes. And you can reach her at lourdes@getherhired.com. She's a fantastic writer. She's very meticulous and is especially good for our friends who are more in those engineering and science fields. She's really good at those. So if that's something that you're familiar with, Lourdes might have answers for any questions you might have. And then last but not least, we've got Mimi on the call today. Mimi, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Kate. I'm Mimi Bishop. I'm also one of the writers here at the Get Her Hired team. I joined in June, and I love working with our clients, putting together their resumes and their other marketing materials, positioning them for their next big thing. It's exciting to really see people start to move forward after they use the materials that we put together for them. I am
Yeah.
also a certified coach, and I have a background in corporate media and marketing.
Thank you. Yes, and that is something I wanted to highlight is that Mimi is available for coaching for our clients. So if you're a client of ours, we're working on your materials. We do have coaching available through Mimi, through Get Her Hired. And so if that's something you're looking for and you're a current client, we'd love to help you out. Okay, so we've got a number of people on the call here today, and this is all anonymous. And we do this on purpose because we know that it can feel really hard and embarrassing. There can be shame, there can be guilt, fear that comes into play when we're in a job search that's more tricky than we want it to be, right? It's taking longer, or it's just different than it used to be. And we do these webinars in anonymous fashion for you as a participant, because we want you to feel free to ask your questions. Ask those dumb questions, which actually aren't dumb. They're probably the questions 10 other people in the room have, but are too afraid to ask. And so how we want you to do this is you can use either the Q&A function that's on the bottom of your screen, or you can use the chat function, which you may be more familiar with. And you can just chat a question. We keep it anonymous. No one's going to see your questions. Only the facilitators here will see your questions. So as we get started, if you wouldn't mind putting in the chat where you're calling in from, that would be really fun to hear, just to see where people are reaching us from. Great. And I'm just going to make sure I make Lourdes a co-host and Mimi a co-host and Jonathan a co-host. That way they can see the questions and just let me know if stuff is coming up that we need to address in the moment. All right, so you've got 4 people here for all of your questions. As we get started, I wanted to share a couple more questions just to see where everyone is coming from here on the call. So I've just launched a poll on your screen. Where are you in your job search saga? Okay, you're applying and interviewing. Are you just getting started? Are you lurking but not applying yet? Are you just here for the tea and tips? It could be any of these things. It looks like vast majority of people are applying and interviewing. You're in the arena. Okay, that's great. And I know the market can be so confusing right now. It's so competitive. We've got one person in here warming up, but the rest of everybody it looks like everyone's applying in that active applying zone right now. So that's great. We can give you really actionable insights today. This is what we do all day. We don't give out BS. We'll give you things you can use right now. Okay. So we promise that with all the questions. So let's go to another question. Nope, that's not the one I wanted. Hang on. I have to tell you all, I made the questions today. So if usually my team makes the questions, this should be interesting. No, that's not the one. Well, let me launch it anyway. What's the one thing tripping you up right now? Okay. Well, and actually, this is multiple choice. You can say multiple things. Like, is clarity, not being clear on what you want next, tripping you up? Are your materials tripping you up? Is the burnout tripping you up? Is, traction, like finding the roles, or okay, we're getting across the board. We're like lighting up all of the things in the elevator, like all of the buttons in the elevator are being pressed. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. It looks like everyone definitely is struggling with applying it to the void. So basically hitting that quick apply on LinkedIn, that's something we hear a lot about, that people hit quick apply and then they hear nothing. It goes into the void. Yes, that's very true. And there's some workarounds we have for that. It looks like the next big thing is your resume and your LinkedIn aren't doing you justice. So that is the next big thing on here. Following that, in third place, we have momentum, burnout, and motivation. Yeah, if you're applying into the void and your materials aren't showing you in your best light, this can really affect burnout and motivation. And then in tied for fourth place is clarity, and then interviewing, struggling with interviewing. And if you don't have clarity on what you want to do next, this is a great reason to call us to work with you and work with Mimi on getting some coaching around that clarity, getting some support with your materials. That's what we are. I'm just going to say we are excellent at that, and I'm not even going to be shy about saying that. Okay, so let's see now. Oh, this is the one. This is a fun one. Okay. If your job search were a movie title right now, would you be You've got mail from a recruiter. Are you getting mails from recruiters? Are you Ferris Bueller days off? Are you in procrastination nation? It's just waiting to exhale. Everything everywhere all at once. Eat, pray, apply. Here's a positive one. Mission possible. It's possible. Maybe you're feeling like a star is born, right? Like you're like, finally you're shining, you're shining. It looks like a lot of people are really lining up with eat, pray, apply. Yes. Okay. So keeping that hope high. And you know, it's a lot. It's some people say it's a full-time job. We at Get Her Hired prefer that it's not your full-time job. We want it to be a part of your life, but not a full-time job. And that's why we are here to help people, because it can be a full-time job and a very lonely full-time job if you're doing it on your own. And we don't want you doing that. We don't want you feeling that way. Let's see now. I think next question. I know I got a lot of questions here, but I just want to see what's going on and understand. When's the last time you updated your resume or your LinkedIn? If it's been more than a year, it needs a big resuscitation. So let's just see. It seems like most people on the call have been keeping it up to date. Usually we see leaders in here who it can be 20 years, it can be 10 years, it can be 5 years since they updated their materials. So if that's you, there's no shame in that. That's just how it is, because a lot of people feel very loyal to their company, and they love the company they're working at, and they never expect to be in a position where they have to leave, or they're all of a sudden gone. And we find that quite often, that someone may not have updated it in years. And so that is not uncommon. Not uncommon. Okay. Let's see, what's this one? Okay, I love this question too. What's the part of your job search that makes you want to throw your laptop out the window? Is it standing out? Is it rewriting the same bullet 47 times? Oh, it's starting to feel personal. We have some people sharing that it's starting to feel personal. Okay. Okay, my friends for who that's starting to feel personal, I'm sorry, that hurts. That hurts my heart to hear that. I want to let you know it's not you. This is a very strange process. It's different than it was even 2 years ago. And so if you haven't looked for a job in 2 years or 20 years, it's very different today. And we'll talk about those ways to stand out and get beyond it feeling like it's your fault, like you are at fault, that you are the problem. You're not the problem. Okay. Let me see. Okay, we're getting close to the end of all my questions for you. So what is your 90-day goal? So in 3 months, we'll be in, I hate to tell you, January. Okay, in 3 months, November, December, January. Okay, I'm sorry, but that's true. If you could have one thing happen in the next 90 days, what would that goal be? So we're getting people saying they want to land their interviews, really uncover what their target is, and network. Okay. And then final question, I promise. If you could change one thing about your search right now, what would it be? You'd feel clear, you'd sound more confident, you'd get traction, you'd stop overthinking, you'd remember that you're the damn prize. Okay, let's hear this one. I'm gonna leave this up here for a minute, because this will really help Mimi, Lourdes, and Jonathan I really understand how to support you with answers to your questions and materials today. Okay, so remembering that we are the prize seems to be an overarching theme here. We've got all of them lit up, but I will say this, that most of the majority of answers are, I am the prize. That, you know what, I'm pretty dang good at what I do, and you'd be lucky to have me. And that is true. That is true for you. And if you're not feeling that way, let us know. We're here for you. Okay. So it looks like we've got some notes in here. Thank you. Someone's calling in from Maryland today. Thank you for being here. We're not going to say any names, so I don't see any other chats here, but thank you. Okay, so we've got a couple questions that came in that I will begin to answer, and I'll bring in Mimi and Lourdes to help answer these. But if you've got more questions, you can put them. Hi, Minnesota. Minnesota's in the house. You can put your questions in either the chat or the Q&A function. And as hosts, we can read them and we'll keep them anonymous for you. So please ask all your dumb questions. This is completely for you. So we have a note here from someone who says, not a question as much as a fear. Oh, I'm past retirement age and recently got laid off as part of an association-wide layoff. But I love what I do and I'm good at it, dang it. I'm concerned about my age. Any tips or suggestions? Thank you. Okay, so here's what I'm hearing there. You are a professional. You've been doing this a long time. You love it. You're not done. You have more to give, is what I'm hearing. And that age is something that is concerning you. And like, if you were here right now, I would ask you, have you been applying? Have you gotten validation that age is the problem? Or is maybe your mindset holding you back a little bit there? I would just ponder on that for a minute. And then Mimi, I want to bring you into this for a moment, because I know you have some insights on this. We're both, I've gone with the full white look, but we're both over 35. So I would say my experience is, if you're not between the ages of 28 and 32, you're either too old or too young. So there's a moment of 4 years between 28 and 32 when you're the right age as a woman.
I would argue not even, because then you're like having a family and babies, and so that's always something hard for women to navigate as well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, Mimi, we hear this a bit. What is your impression when we're talking to people who are on the more experienced end of their careers? Like, what advice would you give this person?
Yeah. Well, I do want to acknowledge that ageism is real and it does exist. So to say, oh, have a positive frame of mind, like I want to acknowledge that this unfortunately this does happen, and so does a lot of other crummy stuff. Um, that aside, though, there are some really great reasons people or organizations should be taking on the talent of more advanced people, especially women. So I would really show up in my, like, really owning all of my experience, which it sounds like you do. Like you said, I know I'm really, I love what I do and I'm great. And you want to really lean forward with that attitude, because a lot of people don't love what they do, right? Or they don't have the skill set that you have. So lean forward with that, is definitely one thing I would recommend.
Yeah. Yes, you don't have the skill set. This is interesting. So, in the markets right now, entry-level jobs are like vanishing. And I think it's going to be a minute until things regulate a little bit about how we're using AI in the workplace to replace entry-level jobs. What is an entry-level job then? You're at the other end of the spectrum. You are an expert. And so the one thing, and especially, I believe you said you were part of an association, the strength you have that people in their 20s and 30s wish they had is the network. And so your most valuable asset, aside from your experience, like Mimi said, leaning into that experience, is leaning into your network. Because especially if you're more senior, if you have been around the block many times, have a lot to give, it's definitely your network that's going to be helping you the most. So what that can look like is, because sometimes people don't think about what the network is, right? And Mimi, if you've ideas like what your network could include, why don't you kick it off, Mimi? Do you mind?
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
what could
Your
that be, right?
your network is everyone that you know, right? So we very often think, well, my network has to be focused just on the people that are I know professionally and maybe in my industry or the lane that I'm in. But truly, your network is everyone you know, and the strength of your network is people that are kind of slightly removed from you. So maybe that is like in my world, Kate is part of my network, and let's say her brother-in-law works at a company where I'm interested in working or know someone there. By extension, that would be part of my network. So
Mhm.
I think a lot of times people overlook the people that are around them already, and then those secondary, you know, um, contacts. So if you think about like as if you were in a solar system, or you're the sun, and then you've got your first ring of planets or the people that are your direct connections, and then it goes out. And so think about it more strategically that way. And it could be your dentist, right? Like you're having a conversation with someone and it comes up that you're looking for a job. What are you looking for? Boom. That person may be able to give you a tip or forward your resume to someone. So it's being very open minded about everyone that you touch in your life is really part of your network.
Awesome. Thank you, Mimi. Lourdes, what's been some of your experience when people are thinking about their network? Because this is something we do, like when we create job search strategies specific to each client, and we coach them on their networking plan as part of their search strategy. Lourdes, what have you seen as we've been creating those ideas for network?
I think one of the things is leaning into LinkedIn, and this is a little bit related to what Mimi was talking about, where I think sometimes LinkedIn gets a little bit overwhelming, or it just feels like another social media tool, and it's just, bleh, I don't want to bother. Um, but I think what we've seen is that kind of those second degree contacts is where a lot of the magic happens. So exactly like what Mimi was saying, where it's like, okay, I'm connected to this person, maybe a former colleague or former boss or whatever, but they have somebody from their former life. And so using LinkedIn and that's why we recommend posting and reposting and having more activity on LinkedIn, because then that gets you and your name out there to more people. And then if more people know, hey, I'm looking, or this is what I'm good at, or I'm a thought leader in this area, more people know who you are, what you're good at, what you're looking for. And now that opens more doors.
Yeah, thank you, Lourdes. Yeah, some people want to throw up in their mouth when we say post on LinkedIn. But let us tell you this. LinkedIn is a database. What it really is a robust database of information on people, okay, and the people's attributes. And so rather than thinking about it as a social media thing, remember what you're doing is you're strengthening your algorithm. You're strengthening the search engine optimization for your profile. So if it makes you want to like go hide under the duvet for 3 days to think that you might post something on LinkedIn, here's a great way that will increase views on your profile by up to 30%. And it's very simple. It's commenting on other people's posts. Okay. So this is a strategy. If you don't want to make your own posts because that feels too vulnerable, and I understand it can feel very vulnerable. You may be in a very vulnerable position right now because it sounds like most people on the call are actively applying and looking for things. So write smart comments on other people's posts. And I'll tell you this, okay? So here's a trick. It's not even a trick. It's just smart, okay? There's someone I follow who posts quite a bit. His name is Andrew Seaman, and he works for LinkedIn and he writes about jobs at LinkedIn. When I go to his profile, I follow him. So I hit the bell on his profile so that when he posts something, I get a notification. And if I can get and look at what he posted and reply within the first 5 to 10 minutes or comment on his post within the first 5 to 10 minutes, I get thousands of views on my comment. Thousands. Okay. And so this is just a smart way to build some visibility in your profile. Of course, your comment can't be done like, cool stuff, bro. Like, so glad you posted that. Thanks. It has to actually be meaningful. And you may get, I'm sorry, did I make you spit out your water, maybe? You may get more views on your profile. Okay. So that is absolutely something that can happen. So Mimi and I know the game of Kevin Bacon, how many 7 degrees separation from Kevin Bacon. So as you're networking, remember we have the 7 degrees, I don't know how many rings of hell there are, but I know that there's 7 degrees of separation between us and Kevin Bacon. So keep looking at that network. It can be vendors, it can be contractors, it can be everyone that you've contacted in any certain way. Jonathan, I want you to queue up something that we'll send as a file here in the chat. And if we can't figure it out right now, we'll email it to everyone afterwards. If you would like our informational interview script. So this is a document that we have in our toolkit that we give to our clients. And Jonathan, I don't know if you can find it, the informational interview script. But we want to give this to you because this is going to help you with networking. What we do at Get Her Hired, half the time, we're helping people overcome blank page syndrome, right? So you're staring at a blank email, you're staring at a blank LinkedIn in-mail box, you're staring at a blank page that you're supposed to turn into a cover letter. What we do is we help you move beyond the blank page syndrome. Okay. And so the informational interview script is a guide. It's a PDF tool that you can use that lays out exactly how to use it and why. Like, let's say you're kind of asking someone for an introduction. Let's say you're asking a cold person for an introduction. You don't know them yet, right? But you want to start talking to them. Well, it'd be kind of awkward to, and Mimi, and Lourdes, I'd love to bring in your ideas around these informational interviews too, just to see what you think. But like, if I were, and I was not that long ago, yes, Jonathan, you can put it right to everyone in the chat there. Yeah, she's going to get the PDF here up in just a moment. But it's kind of like I was on Bumble, right? Looking for the love of my life. And I could go out there and say, hey, I need someone to move in with me, pay half the rent, support my dog, and love me unconditionally. Or I could say, hey, you want to go for coffee and see if we watch the same Netflix shows? And so it's a lot of pressure when I know what, end game is. You want an interview, you want an offer, you want a job. But we can't start out that way. It feels awkward on both sides and people won't respond. So the informational interview script will be super helpful for you to use as you're starting to talk to people. Lourdes and Mimi, how have you seen this help people, and how have you looked at it when we've been talking with clients, about not going in for, hey, come move in with me and pay my health insurance?
Yeah. I think that's a great analogy. And I would just love to share my own experience when if I could go back and tell myself, 30 years ago, now I'm really dating myself, but 20 years ago, 30 years ago, what you need to be doing, it's always to be having those conversations, not just when you're looking for a job. So that makes it a lot easier for when you are kind of up against the wall, that you already have some of these you've had have these conversations and they're ongoing. But I would also just kind of, you know, add on to what Kate said, it's a friendly interaction, right? So you're not asking them for a job or asking them to hire you or anything like that. It's you're being curious and being open to having a connection with someone is a good way to kind of frame it. And I always like to think about also what value can I give this other person? So it's not just a one way awkward kind of thing. It's, learning about what they may be looking for or struggling with, or maybe you can give them a referral that helps them do their job better. Like, don't underestimate the value that you can give back to somebody else. That's what I would add.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And that's something we do when when I ask someone for an introduction, as I say, please look at my network. And is there anyone in my network you'd like me to introduce you to? That's an easy win-win exchange right there. Yeah. Lourdes, did you have any additional insights on informational interviewing and just, yeah.
No, I was just going to say that your comparison to the difference between almost like the dating game where it's just a bunch of questions versus like a more organic, just, hey, how's it going, what are you up to, kind of a more natural conversation about, I mean, yeah, you want to maybe steer it towards what you're trying to get out of it, but I think the word informational interview makes it sound like it's a formal interview, but you're just gathering information. And I think that makes it sound a little bit scarier, a little bit more, question and answer versus just getting together, having a conversation, asking questions, answering questions. Like Mimi said, kind of going both ways and not just you taking all of the information or selling yourself, but also like, hey, what problems do you have? Oh, I know a guy. Like maybe it's not you, maybe you've got somebody else. And then now, you're still building a relationship, even if a job doesn't develop out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It makes me think of, so this is something that most people don't have as a natural strength, right? Like a lot of people will tell us they're not extroverted or they're not natural networkers. That's okay. The more you practice it, the better you will be. So for example, in high school, we didn't have high school buses. I, I went to high school in Chicago in the city. You took the subway, you got yourself to school, okay? There weren't school buses. And so the first time, and the first week, I was like getting myself organized and getting out the door and getting on the bus and getting to school and getting myself to my class. It was not comfortable. But over time, it became like so normalized that it wasn't a problem at all. Um, so what I bring that up to say that, yes, the first few of these may feel awkward. And after that, they'll probably start feeling a little more normal. And if you need someone to practice with, reach out to one of us, Kate at Get Her Hired, Mimi at Get Her Hired, Lourdes at Get Her Hired, admin at Get Her Hired. We're happy to do a informational interview with you. There's no reason why we couldn't. So take the initiative. Give us a try. We'd be happy if you wanted to try our script out. We'll be happy to be on the other end of that. But you get to do it. We're not going to do the heavy lift for you. This is the work you have to do. Okay. We've got another question here that came in. And by the way, please keep putting questions into the Q&A. Or if you want to put it in the chat, you can make sure it just goes to the hosts and panelists, and we'll be sure to keep this confidential. Okay. We had a question. We get this a lot. I've applied for a role on a job board and I haven't heard back. Is it reasonable to reapply with a different version of your resume, especially since jobs seem to be reposted multiple times? This is a a layer cake of a question here. Okay, so we're gonna explore the first layer of this cake. You've not heard back. Is it reasonable to reapply? You know, there's no perfect answer to this because I don't know what system. Here's the deal. When people ask us questions like this, and how do I know if my resume is applicant tracking system optimized, ATS optimized? Because systems are so different, it's hard to know what they're getting on the other side of it. So like you're inputting your information, it goes into the platform, but we don't know how they've configured it on the back end, you know? And so should you reapply? Maybe you should. But here's what I think is going to be more helpful for you. Like, yeah, you can reapply, but that's kind of, what do I want to say? I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good analogy for this. It's kind of like, you keep putting salt in the cake mix, but you wanted to put sugar in instead. Okay. And so, yes, you can reapply and put more in, but what would be more valuable is to find some human beings at that company, stalk them. Okay. Get Her Hired says go stalk some people. Now, please don't show up at their houses, but stalk their LinkedIns. And very often people don't care about us on LinkedIn because they're only on LinkedIn when they need a job. Right? So, so you have to find multiple people at the company and send messages to multiple people and let them know you applied and give them your resume. Lourdes and Mimi, what else have you seen be helpful in this situation? And then I'm going to get to versions and multiple repostings of the same jobs in a moment. But what have you seen to be helpful here?
I was just going to quickly comment that having been, so I started out my career as an admin, administrative assistant, and one of the things that, as in my first corporate job, one of the things that surprised me was how few hiring managers bother sending any communication, even to say, I got your resume or I saw your application. I think it just gets overwhelming, or they don't think of it. And so I would see all these candidates applying, and it wasn't that we weren't looking at their resumes or considering them. It was just things were moving slowly and we were consolidating, or we wanted to wait until we got all of them. And it just got to be too much to reply to all of them. And so it was kind of like just, it wasn't really intentional. It was just not really a thought that this is what we should do. So on the applicant side, we're sitting here, biting our nails going, did they see it? Did they even get it? Are they, am I in, am I out? Whatever, we're worrying about it. But on their side, I mean, you could be the top candidate, but they don't know until they do all of the things. And then depending on how big your the organization is, they move at the speed of the Titanic, right? It's just super slow. And so it's kind of, it's terrible that it is that way, but I would just say that from my experience, it's not even really related to you. It's just how slow the hiring organism is, especially if it's not a super urgent position that they need to fill. Or if it's, at a time of the fiscal year where they can only fill a certain number of positions. And so they're trying to get their ducks in a row and trying to get a bunch of applications in so that when, a hiring freeze or the money frees up, then they can just go, but they don't think to communicate that to the applicants. And so everyone's just sitting there waiting. But that doesn't answer the question, but it's just a perspective on maybe why sending in your resume again isn't going to help you, because it had nothing to do with the first resume. It's nothing to do with you. So
Very often, very often. And it's hard to, I mean, you can send it in again. Yeah, Mimi, do you have any other thoughts on this? Like, um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I one tip I'd love to share, and I don't know if it's necessarily applicable to this with a job board situation, but a lot of times I like to recommend that say you're in a situation where you've had a couple of interviews and even say the role gets filled and they were like you were the perfect, you were the second person, which stinks and is hard. I would still stay in touch with that person because you don't know where another opportunity can open up in the organization, or maybe that role doesn't work out for the person that they hired. So there could be an opportunity there too. And just to try not to take any of this personally. I know that's very hard, but like Florida says, sometimes, a lot of times, it's just people are overwhelmed on the other end. They don't think of it. They don't operate that way. So um, try to keep that in mind.
Yeah, yeah. So, and, I guess the top layer of the cake here is, rather than sending in multiple versions of your resume multiple times, reach out to human beings. Spend that energy reaching out to human beings instead. And it might be 10 people, it might be 20 people. And if you're afraid of reaching out to 20 people at a company, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a parent of a dog that you need to get your dog into the best training class or the best kennel, okay, for Christmas break. Or you're a mom and you want to get your kid into the best summer camp or the best college program. How much energy are you going to put into that? And are you going to stop at one follow-up? Oh, hell no. You're going to do 20 follow-ups and you're going to use your network all over the place to try to get recommendations and introductions and try to schmooze your way into whatever it might be. So put that energy into you, because remember, you are the prize, okay? You are the prize. And so put the energy into yourself with that. We had a question. I want Coach Mimi here to take this next question that came in. Someone wrote in that they are embarrassed to admit they got laid off and they don't want people to know. This person's still on payroll until the end of the year, and they're embarrassed that they got laid off. They don't want people to know they got laid off. So there's a little bit of unraveling in that. And then, is there a way to cautiously put it out there that you're looking, right? Without feeling, this person says, gross. That's their word. Okay. Mimi, start on, like, I'm thinking of this as like a beautiful Lindt chocolate ball. Like, unwrap this for us here.
Well, there are a lot of things. The first is you're not alone. I mean, if you turn on the TV, so many people are getting laid off all the time. I was laid off about 8 years ago. And yeah, like, so it's very common. It's not, I think, um, I know that I was raised in this with this mindset of, oh my God, if you were laid off, it was like the end of the world. These days, it's really not like that because it happens so often. So remember that you're not alone in the situation. It's very common. With that, I will say it's a huge adjustment. And it's a lot to wrap your mind around. So it sounds like this just happened because you're still on payroll for a while. So it takes the time to kind of, land gently because it's not an easy transition. Um, my advice as a coach is I would like for you as an exercise to understand more about why you feel like it's gross to ask or put yourself out there, right? So you're advocating for yourself. You are um, using the skills that you have worked really hard, and you are going to give that value someplace else, right? So these are all positive things. So exactly. And the other thing also, let me even take a step back. Being laid off, it is what it is, right? And so what that means, it's not good or bad, it's being laid off, right? And this happens to a lot of people. So we as human beings attach all the emotion to it. Oh my God, this is terrible, it's gross, I'm embarrassed. And I understand that. I've been in those shoes. But we can also look at it as, well, you're getting paid to the end of the year. That's an opportunity because you can start really looking kind of while you're on their dime. right? So there are also things that could be positive here too. So Lisa, I hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mimi. Yeah, it is, I know I've been there and emotionally it felt like it was my fault, like I did something wrong. When quite literally, it's a financial decision that some controller in some room made, and you're not even there. And they don't even know you. So it's not about you. And it's just so great when we can have double salary for a little while. So I would not pass up the opportunity to get out there and show your fabulous self. Get over being worried about feeling gross, because I think that's old thinking that might hold you back from helping someone that really needs your support. So there is someone out there that needs you on their team. Go be that person. Go and be available to it. If it feels too gross, give us a call. We can help you.
Yeah.
Coach Mimi's here to help you think through this too. So
We can help
we're
you unravel, where that feeling of gross is coming from. And the other thing is also you could dip your toe in and just say, I'm kind of interested in looking for different opportunities. You don't have to tell anyone you were laid off. You're just exploring. And
yes.
that's something that we should always kind of have our ear to the ground of what's happening in our industry or potential opportunities. So that shows that you are a proactive professional.
It's professional. Exactly. Thanks, Mimi. All right, we've got another question that came in around LinkedIn. How do we show up in executive searches? Is it okay to add your previous role in your tagline? So to this question, there are 4 key areas where LinkedIn scrapes your profile for content. And there's really 4. And then after that, everything is bonus points. Okay. So if you have these 4 down, which I will explain in just a moment, you have those 4 down, you're in good shape. And then everything you add on just bumps you closer and closer and closer to the top of the search engine results, including how often are you posting, how often are you on, how often are you messaging, how often are you commenting. So all of the stuff plays into how you show up in a search result. So if you think about in Google, if you're Googling something, how do you come up on page 1? Or if a search firm is looking for you, how do you make sure your profile gets returned on top? So these 4 areas are going to be your headline. I'll type it in the notes on the side here. So for LinkedIn, the 4 areas of optimization are your headline, your about section, your experience, and your skills. Okay. Those are the 4 sections that need to be tip top, because they are the ones. So if you go out on your LinkedIn profile right now, you can download your own profile as a PDF and you will see what it captures. Okay. And what it captures there is going to be fairly equivalent. It's got a little bit extra, but it's fairly equivalent to how they weigh a profile in the algorithm. Okay. So if you went out there and you don't have an about section, if you have a LinkedIn profile and you just have the name of the company and then an esoteric, like weird internal title to your job, and then you don't have any bullets in the experience section under that job, you're missing out on a lot of algorithm strength. So what we recommend in your experience section is definitely have the name of your company, obviously. The title, we want you to have a market value job title. And if you don't know what those are, send us a note. We'll follow up and share with you more about, Lourdes, can you find the reference to the article we usually share about the market value job titles when we're doing the LinkedIn audits? That'd be cool to put that in the chat. There are about 6,700 market value titles. And what this means is those job titles appear in the drop down when you're putting in a job title. So if your job title is anything weird internal, Like nobody external to your company would know what it means, right? You're probably not being found. And so headline, I'll get back to headline in a minute, which was a question this person asked, but in your experience section, find a equivalent job title that's indexed, okay? And it's in the drop down. This increases the chances of you being found exponentially, okay? And then to be honest about this, because we always want to be honest, is the first part then of the narrative area within your experience. You can say internal title, colon, and then whatever your weird I'm saying weird, it's probably not weird, but there's just unique titles that
Unusual.
yeah, that companies have that don't mean anything to the rest of the world, right? And so you kind of have to optimize it that way in the drop down and then put that type. And then we want, if nothing else, please pull in the bullets from your resume from that part of your job into the experience section because you want to fill it. I say it's like filling your plate full of broccoli. Okay. We're going to fill it full of keywords for the algorithm to find you. So that's the experience section. Your headline, we have a formula we like on that. Oh, thank you, Lourdes. There's an article out there on market value filters. So Lourdes just posted that there. We want you to have that. Definitely check that out. But in the headline, our formula for a good headline is title of role you are looking for, 3 key skills, and then a tagline. A unique tagline. So what this could look like is Kate Wade, resume writer, AI, communication, empathy. And my tagline is I write scroll stopping resumes. So that's a way that we do that with the headline. You can add your previous role in there. Some people like putting in ex Lehman Brothers, ex Harvard, ex, Salesforce, ex, I don't know. To me, that's kind of a turnoff, but I understand that people at that level sometimes feel an attachment to a company they worked at before that they're really proud of that they worked at. And if you want to have that in there, go for it. I don't know that it helps in search results though, if that's what you're trying to do. Okay, I think we got one final question. And if there are any more questions, please jump in here and ask away. Because we've got just, 10 minutes, a little bit less than 10 minutes here, but we've got an open question box now. We don't have any questions here. We have a comment that came in. I saw on LinkedIn that even though our first instinct is to apply frantically for jobs after we get laid off, it's actually better to pause and process. If we don't process what we feel about our layoff, it can stunt our job search in the long run. Oh, girl. Or boy, I don't know, girl or boy, I'm not sure. Here's what I would say. Anytime we come at anything from fear, from a place of fear and anxiety, we are definitely putting the wrong energy out into the world. That is for sure. We definitely don't want to come at this from a place of fear. Lourdes or Mimi, any other, I want to make sure you get some time to think about that too and add that.
I completely agree. So definitely, and that's not something that you can say, okay, I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning on the different side of the bed and feel much better about this, right? So you have to acknowledge that this is a really crappy thing and it hurts and it's unfortunate and it's uncomfortable and it's bringing up all of these things. So give yourself some time to really acknowledge the fact that you feel crummy about it, and process it. I mean, that's part of processing difficult things. Um, and then you may not necessarily go from feeling really bad about it to hey, I can't wait. This is going to be a great opportunity. But can you feel maybe a little bit more curious about what this could be? Or, you know, looking for maybe think about what you're going to learn in the process or how you're going to grow in the process, right? So you're slowly taking yourself from maybe feeling really overwhelmed and anxious, which is completely natural, to, hmm, what could this teach me? Or what can I learn? Or where will this bring me? Those kinds of things. I find that that can help.
Yeah. Lourdes, what do you think? Any advice there?
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's one of the reasons why when we start working with a client, we don't just ask questions like, what do you want to do next? It's more about what kinds of things do you want to do next? What kinds of things energize you? What kind of work makes you happy and makes you like, yes, this is great. And what kinds of things drain you? Because I experienced this myself. I wasn't laid off, but I just decided that what I'd been doing for so long was not what I wanted to be doing anymore. And I had to take the time to stop and think, like, instead of just assuming, okay, well, I want another job exactly like what I did before, unless I loved it, which I didn't. But, are there other things that, check all the right boxes for me that I never thought of? Are there roles that I didn't really think about because I was kind of, had blinders on thinking like, this is what I'm doing now. So this is what I should be doing next. And so just starting to ask yourself questions and taking the time to ask yourself those questions about what makes you excited, what drains you, what would you like to be doing more of? Do you want to move into the next level? Do you want to manage people? Do you not want to manage people? Do you like all of those different things, and kind of take an inventory of, if you could do anything, what do you want to do? And then start going from there instead of just in a panicked reaction, just taking the first thing that you can think of.
Thank you so much, Lourdes. Yes. Yeah. What is really going to align with you? And so this is an opportunity. It's almost a gift, in a way, if you can get there, right? Like we have to get there. And of course, the reality is you still got to put food on the table and pay rent and the car payment and take care of the kids and whatever it might be. So there's that reality too, we recognize. But giving yourself the grace of exploring this for a moment. I recently also posted about, hey, I took a job at Panera for a short time in between jobs. And I just had to do that. And it was fine. And I met some great people and I learned how to cut bagels precisely and, like all sorts of stuff, how to make an industrial sized pot of coffee, like all the stuff I learned. And it was fun. You know what? It was fun. Was it where I was supposed to be at that time? Yeah, it was where I was supposed to be at that time. Was it where I wanted to stay? No. And did I stay there long? No, I was there 3 months, but then something else came along. And in the interim, my family was okay and I was okay. Someone just gave me a compliment for learning how to cut a bagel precisely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Before we go, we had one question on how important is it to put open to work on your LinkedIn? I'll answer this briefly. Open to work, always, 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 always. If you don't have it set right now, put it on to recruiters only and never turn it off ever again. Okay. Keep it on. This signals to recruiters that you're open to having a conversation. All right. So set those things up to recruiters only. Absolutely. And if you're afraid, some people tell us, well, I'm afraid my boss is going to see that I'm open to work. Well, just tell them it's professional. You listened to a executive resume writer, an executive career coach, and they said always leave it on. And so you're just leaving it on. You're just following professional advice. Okay. You have that permission now if you needed it. And part two, having it on, it's up to you if you want to have that green banner on that where it's open to the public. Some recruiters say it lets them know that you're ready immediately for a conversation. You're not going to waste their time, and they like that. Other recruiters say they don't care. if you have it on. So it just depends on your comfort with it, if you'd want to have that green circle on there or not. It's up to you. It is a signal. And if you want more people to know about it and help you, put the bat signal out there. If you want to be more low key, you can have just recruiters only on. I actually have it on right now. I'm not looking for a job, but I have it on because it's the smart thing to do, because I can start conversations with cool people if they happen to reach out, right? So we're right at time. Before we go, I want each of my team members, including you, Jonathan, to share one piece of advice you'd like everyone to take today if they are out there trying to remember that they are the prize, that they don't have to, eat, pray, apply. Like, what is a piece of advice you want to give everyone today?
I would say when I feel a little shaky or wobbly in my own confidence, like professional confidence, especially, I will look towards mentors that may show up in the way of podcasts where I get really jazzed and feel motivated. And I will just listen to that on repeat for a while until it helps shift my energy and the way I'm feeling about myself and about things.
Yeah. Yep. Reaching out, not being alone. Yes. Getting some advice. Jonathan, how about you? What do you think? What would your piece of advice be? Now that you've been with us for a whole month and a half, what have you seen?
As for me, my advice is to give yourself a value or look at yourself as a valuable person, because putting confidence on on yourself first, and that's the way how you sell yourself to others, especially to the recruiters, because just like what we always hear, that we can always have same strength or same skills with others, but putting yourself or showing your unique self to your recruiter or to those who you want others to see you, yeah, so they will see how beautiful you are, how unique you are when you show confidence and you give value to yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jonathan. That was beautiful. I don't know, Lourdes, if you can top that one.
I can't. It's related. It's kind of reiterating what we said before about don't take don't take either rejection or the perception of being ghosted. Don't take it personally. It's most likely not you. Um, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't, look at your materials, looked at your LinkedIn profile and say, hey, could I be doing better? Could I be doing something differently? Especially if you haven't worked with us. But don't don't just assume it's because you don't have the skills or you're too you're too experienced or you didn't go to the right school or you didn't you don't have the right words or you didn't have the right jobs. It's very likely has nothing to do with you. It's more to do with them. So just, you know, go to the next thing.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Lourdes. And my final word of advice is you're a big freaking deal. Go out there like the big freaking deal you are and just go for it with the energy you would put into finding your grandma the best retirement home. Okay. You're not going to put grandma in a crappy place. You want her in the best place. Put that energy, put that summer camp energy, put that college energy, put that kennel or that training program energy, put that into you. You deserve it. All right. If you've got any questions, you can reach out to us at Kate at Get Her Hired, Mimi at Get Her Hired, Lourdes at Get Her Hired, or admin at Get Her Hired, and we'll be happy to help you. Thanks again, and we hope you have a beautiful day. Take care and wish you great success. Bye-bye.